in today's day. This is the end of 2012, getting on close to 2013 when I'm recording this, and we are definitely in a mode where visual content is king. For so long, we've talked about content is king, and I certainly believe that you should have a content strategy, and that content can be written content, which I hope includes a blog. I love it when schools do multiple blogs. Having a blog from the head of school, I think it's great to have an athletic blog. Maybe some of the fine arts or other departments that you have, lower school, upper school, different kinds of blogs that represent kind of the voice or the personality of your school. And so written content is an important part of your strategy. Not not for the least, it just helps with search engine optimization. Content is always and continues to be uh, so important to your search engine optimization strategy, your SEO strategy. And that way you're spending you're writing things that are relevant. You're using keywords that I think you got to think about what people are searching for. I've had this conversation with somebody before about, if you're an independent school, but people rarely type in the word independent school, they type in the word private school. So you might want to keep that in mind, even though you may refer to yourself as an independent school. Keep in mind that people searching often use the term private school, and a lot of other areas like that exist. And so you want to have a written content strategy. Certainly a blogging strategy is, I think, essential. Certainly just gives you an opportunity to showcase some personality and some depth, who you are, some of the values that you hold dear. Just a written, particularly a blogging content strategy is really essential. I think you can certainly do some audio content. We love to use a tool called Audio Acrobat that allows people to record simply like a voice message, and that gets an MP3 file. You got many of you have smartphones that you can record audio uh, messages on, or you can pretend you're a news reporter and record somebody, and take that voice memo and turn it into a piece of audio content for a blog, for your website. Think about putting it on a web page. Let me see if I can show you why I'm online here. I want to come back to this page, so I don't want to lose this, but I think I can type in. No, I'm gonna save my time here. Just to we use a in conjunction with the Audio Acrobat, which allows us to capture the MP3 recordings. We use there's a lot of tools out there you could use, but certainly using SoundCloud is another tool that you can. And we use the free service, the free version of it. And what that does is allows you to upload the MP3 file, and it creates this really nice shareable MP3 file that has kind of a just a nice visual representation to it, so you can see the kind of the sound, the MP3 as it's playing, and it just creates. I should have brought up an example so you could see it, but I might do that while I'm here online. Let me take a moment to do that as I'm talking. But this is on another site that we have that we run for nonprofits. Let me show you how this works. This is our business side, but also we work with nonprofits. And so you see here, this is our Marketing Twins site. And you'll see, if it's still there. Yes, there it is. Okay, so not only we have some visuals here, but this is our SoundCloud. You see that little SoundCloud logo there. And this simply, and I'll try to play this. I don't know if I have my audio. Our page dedicated exclusively to nonprofit organizations. Okay, that's probably enough of that. But we can actually color, change the colors on this. So you've got a nice opportunity there to create an MP3 file that people will look at and at least play a little bit. So and the reason I suggest this idea, I'll get off of that, is for a lot of you who say, well, written content is one thing, but we need something, more engaging on our admission page. And a lot of you who are in admission or marketing or communication, somebody says to you, We need a YouTube video of you welcoming everybody to the admission page, and you cringe at the thought, and you say, "Oh, I don't want to be on video. I don't like myself on video." That might be another option for you, is to create an audio file that you can do a 1-minute audio greeting on your page. And that is simply just another way to use audio. You can certainly use those that audio Acrobat. It's a what that is that, like, you give somebody a phone number and you tell them, make a phone call and leave a voice message. Essentially what it is, it's just leaving a message. And you're asking maybe some of your current families to leave a message, almost a testimonial. And what that does is then it comes back to you as an MP3 file. And then you can turn around and use that. And you could upload that to SoundCloud and create nice little testimonials, again, from families who are not comfortable on video, or perhaps you're in a situation where you just don't have the technology to create videos very easily. Using those kind of tools right there are easy, very, very affordable ways to create engaging content, where written content has its place, but I think some more engaging content certainly has a place as well in our day. But beyond written and audio, visual content, and video, you can imagine we could have a whole session on video content. I just want to talk about the visual content from images, photos, pictures, all those, that visual content. And I wanted to give you kind of the behind the scenes, a little bit, at least how I do it when we have a visual content strategy. I kind of wanted to walk you through the steps of what I do, how I do it, and how I use my visual content in a number of ways. So the first thing, and I want to start here just showing you, this is kind of where I'm going to go with this, but this is a blog post that we have on our website, yourschoolmarketing.com. This is one of the articles we did a while back. It's in a 3-part series. And this is, I always include an image with the blog post. I always did before. I've done that for years. And I just think it makes an article much more engaging. It's going to draw people to it when they come to your website and they see a photo. Even a simple photo like this, it doesn't have any text on it. I could have written some text there. It doesn't have to be just exactly specific to this this post. Again, this post is about making referrals. Well, there wasn't a real good picture that I found about what referrals was all about. But again, the idea of a classroom, filling seats, that's what we always talk about when we put students in your seats. Right there is our logo and our slogan. And so the idea of having a photo, an image that about seats was appropriate for this post. And so here's what I did, and I want to walk you through the process, because I know in consulting with schools, sometimes I'll even say, you create an image and put it in your blog post, and then all the other things you can do with it, which I'll kind of explain in just a moment. And a lot of times people say, well, where do you get an image? And what do you do with the image? And so I wanted to kind of walk you through what I do and show you how this works. And so the first thing that I do when I'm looking, I'm thinking about my visual content strategy, is to go find the image. That's the first thing I've got to do. And so I want to go and find, and I'll show you the process by which I did this. So here's the question of where to get photos, where to get images at. You obviously have a lot of your photos yourself. Certainly you may want to engage in a photo strategy that is just all the students on your campus. You may want to use other pictures of your campus, buildings and activities and staff and all the different. So you may not struggle with this idea, but occasionally you're writing maybe content that is more specifically geared toward parents, prospective parents, and maybe a picture of one of your kids is not what you want to use, and so you want to look for a particular photo, and you want to look for just the right photo. And this obviously helps too when you're looking for photos, for high resolution photos to use in brochures, on some of your printed pieces like that. And so I wanted you, I have 3 places that I get that kind of content from, and I wanted to show you this. Well, I'll start here first. Most people know about Istockphoto. Some really great pictures. You can buy them relatively inexpensive, especially if you're using. They have. Let's look at this picture. You can look at this picture. It's a great picture. Perfect picture. These are some suggested ones. And so you've got some real high quality photos. Yes, they're stock photos, but perhaps that's more appropriate. And look, you can buy them at different levels. These smaller versions here, these you can see here, you can even click on the inches and see, but particularly the 72 DPI are appropriate for the web. That's what we consider low resolution photos. When you get to 300 DPI, that's more for high quality printing. So one thing about your visual strategy is when you're buying a photo, you think, man, I love that photo. And you immediately say, well, for 4 credits, and you'd have to go in the iStock and figure out, you have to buy credits and they equal kind of a dollar amount. And, I can't remember exactly the rate, but let's just say that for every credit you buy, it costed like a dollar or $2. And so again, you multiply that, and maybe for $8, $10 or so, you can buy that photo. And you think that's really good. But again, if later on someone says, hey, I saw that photo you used on that blog post or on your website, and I want to put that in our newsletter or our annual report to donor, and you're going to have a kind of a trouble there because this is a low resolution photo. And when you go to print it, to do in print, it's going to be very pixelated. It's going to be kind of that blurry look. And so you can't do that. You can't go from a low resolution up to what is a high resolution without making it blurry and pixelated. But you can go down. So you want to think about buying the larger photo. Again, if you have any inkling at all that you may use this photo on a retractable marketing sign that you use at a private school preview in your area, an expo, or if you want to use this on some marketing materials that you have and you want to do it in print, you want to look at the higher resolution. And this has the 300 DPI. And again, just looking at this photo again, if you wanted to go, you pick your size, and and then buy it. They cost more, but it's worth it. I promise you. I've done it by accident, where I bought the smaller one thinking I'd never use it, and sure enough, a client came back and said, "Oh, we want to use that photo right there," and then I ended up having to go buy it again at the higher resolution. You can always take a higher resolution and save it down as a low resolution, which is a smaller file size that opens quicker on your website. And so be sure and buy the higher resolution photos when you're doing this. Unless you just think, this is a one-time photo, I won't do that. Then this is a good place to do it. iStock has got some incredible photos, images, just about everything you can imagine. An alternative to iStock that I found that has some similar kind of images is called stockfresh.com. I've just gone ahead and done a search for private school. Some of the images here will be overlapped from iStock. You'll see a lot of the same images. But from time to time, I've found that I like using this site because even though the images are stock photo, they're not, that are not the same on iStock. And you just have to kind of do a search around and see if you see it. But there's something about the photos here that have just a little less of a stock photo look. Some of them obviously are, but you can find some really. I've used a client wanted one time. They said we definitely don't want to do stock photo, but we can't use our own images. Kind of left me in a rock and a hard place. But they said we need to find something really good, high quality photos. So I came here. Sure enough, we found some images that I gave it to them, and they said, "Who are these people? Where'd you get them from?" They thought they were, what would they say, real people. They thought they were, they didn't realize they were actual stock photos. So, stockfresh.com is another opportunity for you, another place you can go to get good quality images. They also have the high resolution photos that you'll have to buy, and so you want to. Those are a couple of different places. Now, here's another site that is really interesting. And so this is called I think iStock has bought them out recently in the last year or two. It's called Stock Exchange. It's called sxc.hu. And so that's the web address, sxc.hu. And you'll find this is, I think it's a European site, so you'll get some of the images you actually have a lot more European flair to them. If you see things with license plates or things like that, you might think, well, that doesn't look like America. That looks more something European, and that's the reason why you see that. But nevertheless, you get some great photos here, and the same kind of deal. They're high resolution. The good thing about this site I love is it's all free, absolutely free. You can use them. They are free for you to use. I love that about it. Don't always find this photo I'm looking for, but again, if you're doing a photo and you want to use chalk here to represent, I mean, that's a great photo, something that you wouldn't want to have to recreate that yourself and take that picture. This is a great opportunity to take photos that are already done. And I'm just going through here and looking at a few pictures, and the reason I did is I want to show you what I did here. So I am going to search on classroom, and I already did this. So I'm going to look at classroom. That's going to take me to this page. So I just search on words, and this is what I find. So here I am looking through this page. Now this is what I stumbled across. It's called Doodle Desk 2. You can click on that image and see it a little bit more. You can see some things here. And actually click on the image, and there it is. You can then save it. You can right click or whatever you do on, I'm on a Mac, so I do that. You can save your image down, and that will give me a very large size photo from here. It's a 300 DPI photo. It's huge, and so I'll be able to use it on whatever I want. And so anyway, it's a great photo. You can download. I think I actually downloaded this and clicked on that button when I did that. Didn't do right click. So you can. Some of them have restrictions. I think this one had you had to get the permission, and I emailed and said what I was going to use it for, and they quickly wrote back and said yes. Some of them have that, and some of them don't. But nevertheless, I've got a photo here, and so what do I do with it? So I pull this in. I'm going to get off of this, and I'm going to go. I use Photoshop. And so here's what I did. Let me get over to this area here. Oops. All right. So I've got my little placeholder. And what I do in Photoshop, and you may have other photo editing software. I love Photoshop. I've got the full version. We also on our team use Photoshop Elements. You don't have as many bells and whistles on that one, but it's very affordable. You can go to just about any office store and get Photoshop Elements. Certainly do what I'm doing here on Photoshop Elements. So you may want to check into that. It's very easy to learn, and it gives you some great options to create some visual for your site. And so what I do, I like the consistency of images. And for the most part, you'll see on our website, most of our images all have the same size. I like them all to be a uniform size. You don't have to do that. You can upload any image, but I'd like, when I come across a site, I like to see a consistent size imaging. And so that's what I do. We have a standard template that we use for all of our images, and they all kind of have the same look. They have a border around it. This one has a little bit of a inner shadow to it, and that's what we're using right now. And so I can drop any number of pictures in here I want. So I have that picture of that classroom, and so I drop that in. And so when I drop that picture, and again, Photoshop allows me to do some different things to it. Again, I think, well, there's some color here, or maybe I want to, let's see, I'll do a black and white, and then Photoshop allows you to do a little bit more to it. So I'm going to tint that just a little bit blue. So you can see I went from black and white to a little bit of a tint of blue, because to kind of coincide with the color scheme on our website, that's just what I did. And this is how I created this image. I could go in here and write text on there if I wanted to. You could do it a lot of different ways. So let's go back to the website, and I wanted to show you one more thing about finding images. Now, obviously, a lot of Google Images is a place that has a lot of images. Be cautious in using those images. That's why I always try to steer clients to the Stock Fresh and the iStock, and the other site that I mentioned, the sxc.hu. Use that for your images, but There are Google images that you can get. Now, this is what I'm going to do. This is something a lot of people don't know is you could go to, I'll do it. This is where you go to google.com/images. And one thing is you can do is you can say, I've got let me do this. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take off this color. So I'm on my Mac, I can screenshot this. And I want to say, I like that picture. I want to see if it's out there anywhere. This is a good strategy to use if you really are concerned about, hey, I don't want the same images on our site that are on maybe a competing school. And so this is a neat way to do it. It's a neat way to find images. I found sometimes where I found an image, I think I really like that, but rather than borrowing it from somebody or taking it off somebody else's website, I want to use it. Maybe I want to use it on a printed piece, but I can't click on somebody's website and grab the photo. So what I need to do is I need to go through here, go to google.com/images, click on the photo, the camera icon, and you can paste the URL if you have the URL of that image, or in this case, an uploaded image. And so I want to do is go up here, and this is my latest image. And so that picture I took a snapshot of. I can then go see and find. Okay, so I'm going to see and look here. Here's it'll tell me if this is on anywhere, and then maybe here visually similar images. So now I can see this was on, here it is, another private school in Australia used it on their site too. So again, the idea that you may want to look through just another way to, sometimes it will tell you if you can say, well, I can, it'll actually have the Istockphoto listed here. So I think I got this site. Well, I got that site from this picture from the other site. If I'd have grabbed an Istockphoto, a lot of times it will recognize, it might recognize that picture if I was looking for that one, and it will tell you, and you can go right to the photo, and then that way you don't have to search through Istockphoto to find it. It will have the link to that photo right there, and then you can go log into iStock, and if you have the credits, then you'll be able to purchase that photo. So just another way to find images. All right, so again, going back to our Photoshop file, I want to color that and tint it the way I have it. Save this file down. Again, I've got mine sized exactly where I want them. I think about 550 pixels wide, and I just kind of have a number here. I don't even know what it is, about 300 pixels high. That's my standard template. And again, I can drop in any number of photos. I can drop in that one. I've dropped in any number of pictures in the past, and some of them I'll tint, some of them I won't. But it just depends on the photo. So again, I've got this photo, save it down. Now I've got my image. And so I go over here and I put this in my blog post. So this article now has this image in there. And that's how it got from Photoshop, saved it down, and now uploaded it to I use a WordPress site, very easy to use. And so I upload this new blog post, put my title to it, and I actually have this this image in my blog post. So great, easy way to create visual content. But look what all else I can do with this. This is what I like. So I'm going to exit out a few of the other things I have up here. So one of the things I do is in my visual content strategy is I want to make sure when I go to Facebook that I have an image here, because again, when you're on Facebook, and I'll click over to our Facebook. This is our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/school marketing. And this is our Facebook page. Okay, so in my visual content strategy, of course, you'll see our custom Facebook page we've done. We've got 3 different custom tabs up here that we've done, and those will all go to landing pages that we can use. And so, great way to for visual content, creating a visual splash on your Facebook page is a great way to entice new fans, people visiting your page. They want to know what you're about. They want to go a little deeper with you, and you want to invite them, and kind of as a showcase, using your custom Facebook page, having these 3 tabs here allows you to go almost like a navigation bar, allows you to get a little bit deeper, and you can go into those and go into landing pages on Facebook, not on your website, but actually on Facebook. And so I'll show you one real quick before we move on. Just now, I'm an admin of this page, so you'll see one little click here. I'm going to do, oops, Yeah. Okay. So this is what it would land on. And so this is what, that's parts you're not going to see, but a non-admin person would come to this page, and this is where they would come to on the landing page. Each one of these, you can see the little hand there, they're linked, so I can send people from here. Now from here they'll go to my website, but now I just gave everybody an opportunity to see more about what we do by giving them here. So again, just incorporating a visual content strategy in this way is another way to draw people uh, to what you have to offer. Okay, so we'll go back to our strategy here, visual content strategy on Facebook. If you are uploading, say you want to do a blog article, and rather than just putting a link in there, let's go grab this page here. I'm going to grab the URL, just by copy that URL, and I want to come in here. Don't forget, I want to change up here. I want to change to Your School Marketing, so I'm actually operating as Your School Marketing. And let's say I want to put that in there. Now what happens is Facebook will generate a thumbnail, and you can pick from the visuals on the site. It will pick through, sometimes they're not all of them, but it'll pick up certain visuals. And so there, I could pick up that picture and I could make a little few comments here, and that would be okay. It's not a bad way to do it. We've done it many times like this. But what we found is, and so what I'm basically trying to do is with a little thumbnail, drive them to see this in their news feed and then click this article, and that will take them over to this blog post. But what we've also found, and research has proven this, is that rather than, I'm going to copy this link over here, and let me go ahead and refresh my page so I can come back to it. I'm going to leave page. And now I want to come back through, and instead of just putting a link in there, I want to put a photo. And so then, well, I'm not going to do this right now, but I would attach the photo, which is the same photo here. I would actually put the photo in there. And then, and I wish I could do this for you, but I don't have that set up real easily. So basically, I would put the photo in there, and then it'll ask you, you can put a little description of the photo, much like a caption or something like that. Put the link to your blog post in the description. And let me show you how this works, how it looks in the end. Okay, I'm going to go to my photos and find it. And you can see kind of how we use a visual strategy here. There's a lot of photos, and these are not just photos that we snapped at conferences or out on a visit with a client. These are all blog posts that we've done. And so this is how visual people are. Is people want to look through and they see all these photos. And so I'm trying to look for, there we are. There's our photo. So I uploaded the photo, again, same one that was here. I uploaded it to Facebook as a photo, and in the description of the photo, I was able to write some comments, and then there's our link to our article. This has much higher engagement across the board, not so much on this post, unfortunately, but across the board we've seen, and I think clients are seeing this, and if you read just about anything online, it's going to tell you get more likes and comments and even more shares on your photos and videos too, but particularly on photos, as opposed to just importing a link to an article. You just get a lot more interaction and engagement. And so that's what you want to do. So again, thinking through your visual content strategy, starting over on the blog. That's why I always think a blog is important, because you have a lot of control over this blog and how it looks and the photos that you can upload, and putting that into your blog there then allows you to then post it over on to Facebook, same photo. You didn't have to do any additional work, but you're then able to take advantage of the strength of visual images on Facebook, which is always going to create a higher level of engagement. And so creating good visuals in the beginning, putting it on a blog, and then using that same image on Facebook is just, again, a part of your visual strategy. I'm not going to have time to show this today, but you could go into Twitter and upload the maybe use TwitPic or some other photo. So when you upload a photo into a tweet, you could use that same photo. So once you create the photo and the image, then you can use that image on Facebook. You can use it on Twitter. I haven't even talked about something like Instagram. you could do something with that. But let me show you what else we do with this, just because so many people are using it. Is I'm going to go over here and we make it available. And again, I would encourage you to do the same thing. On the bottom of our post, you can see here we have a nice little plugin that shows some related posts. It keeps people engaged on your site. But right here is the Pinterest. We make it easy for people to pin this blog post over onto Pinterest. And so we want to make it easy, because in Pinterest it's all visuals. All visuals. I mean, and videos are a part of that visual strategy on Pinterest as well. But images and video, they're visual, and it's a visual social network. So you've got to have visuals. You've got to have some place to have that the visuals start at. You could have a Pinterest strategy, but you just upload photos there. But what you want to do is drive people from Pinterest to your website. And we have on here, our blog is integrated into our website. So whenever someone comes from Pinterest, they're going to come straight to our website. That helps with our traffic to our site, and it engages people over on Pinterest, but they're always drawn back to our site. Let me show you how that works. We have our own Pinterest account with Your School Marketing. And so here we are. This is ours at pinterest.com/school marketing. You can see these are just a few of the boards that we have here. I was editing this, so let me get out of that. But again, we're setting up boards. I'm changing them around all the time as I think of different things to use, and creating new boards and consolidating some. And so, but let me show you what I was trying to do here. Again, we have this, the title of this post is called The 3 R's of School Marketing. It's a part 3, it's a 3-part series. And so I created a whole board around the 3 R's. And we have a free ebook that you can find at the bottom of our site, The 3 R's of School Marketing: recruitment, retention, and referrals. And so I want you to, and there's blog posts that are associated with each one of those ideas as well. But over on Pinterest, we have a board set up with that. And so let me show you this example. So again, we use the 3R. I wanted this image as the board cover, but inside of that, I'll go a little bit more specifically. Inside of this board, you see that we have already part 1 here. We have the free report, and then we have another one. This is the part, actually it's part 3, I think, if this is the right one. Yeah, part 3. So now we have that here, but look what happens if I were to go and click on that image. And the way Pinterest works, if you're new to Pinterest, is, see, I use that same exact image. I didn't change it. It's the same image, but but I was able to pin it. And then look what happens here is I've got a little comment there, but now I can click through. And when somebody clicks through, and this is where do they go to? Back to that. This is the same article that I was on earlier. And so that's the point of our Pinterest strategy, is to get people to be enticed by the visual and then click through and go to the actual blog post. Very common strategy when you're talking about Pinterest. And so that's why, again, you need visuals on your content on a blog, because without this, it would be hard to send people to this article if that image wasn't there, because you wouldn't have anything to pin on Pinterest, because you can't pin words on Pinterest. You can pin visuals such as video and images and photos. And so I think it's an important part of our visual content strategy is creating. I've just shown you a few things here, but again, to review, you have the concept of creating a visual that goes on your blog, taking that same visual, repurposing it over onto Facebook. So we have Facebook, and then we also, I tweeted out, and then also being able to use that again over on Pinterest without having to do any additional work on my visual. It's the exact same thing. And so that's our visual content strategy. Why I'm at it, I'm going to show you just how easy it is. Again, I noticed that we have not yet to, let me go back on this board of 3 R's. We have part 1. This is part 2 or part 3, but notice part 2 is not in here yet. So I need to pin that. So I'm going to go down here and find that part 2 article. It should be down here somewhere. Here it is right here. So again, a similar kind of, you'll see a similar feel in the visual. Same blue box, same exact size. We've got a kind of a black and white with a blue tint on the photo. Again, just took a photo that we found, probably one of those sites. I'm not sure which one I used, But again, just a happy, this photo. Again, the idea of how to find a photo that represents retention. Well, I don't know, but these are your satisfied families. These are your happy people that love coming back to your school and re-enrolling every year. And so retention is that. That was a visual that represented that to me. And so now what we want to do is go ahead and pin this post. And I think it'll do it, but I'm going to copy that title because I want to put that in the description, but it might already do that. Let me come down here as a blog post, and I want to pin it. Okay, and the way Pinterest works, it grabs a lot of different. See, we have a lot of images on our site, but this is the image I want because that'll take me directly to the blog post. And see right there. So, and it already has a description in the photo, but I'm going to add in so we can see that it's part 2 of 3. And I've already got the board set up as 3 R's, and I'm going to pin it. And so I'm going to go back, refresh my Pinterest board. There it is. So now I can go back here and add part 3 of 3 to this one, but that creates my integrated visual content strategy using a blog, Facebook, and Pinterest. And again, you can do other things like Instagram and certainly on Twitter, but these are the 3 areas that we're using the most, and I think a lot of schools are beginning to use more and more is blog, Facebook, and Pinterest. And so again, that's our visual presentation today about optimizing the use of visual content for your strategy in social media and using kind of an integrated strategy, visual, written content. We talked about even audio content and integrating that together and pulling people and driving traffic from different social media outlets, ultimately coming back to your website because that's where you want to go. That's where you have the most control over. That's where you have the most opportunity to create a call to action. And so when you're thinking about preview nights and open houses and different marketing and admission events, think about your online strategy and how your visual content strategy works. Make sure you have it in place and you're using it all year long. And that way you've got a real nice, seamless, integrated visual content strategy. So again, thank you for watching this visual presentation today. And you can go to our website, yourschoolmarketing.com. Certainly there you can follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter as well. We have a YouTube channel, which you may be watching this on there. But you also will be able to follow us on Pinterest, and we have a number of other resources to help you market your school more effectively. And let us know how we can help you. Go to yourschoolmarketing.com. And again, my name is Randy Vaughn. Hope you have a good day.